Let's just get right to the next slide. So before I begin my talk about spoken word, I have to address this problem that I keep getting from Monster.com. They keep sending me these rude emails talking about how I am embellishing on my resume. Now, I don't think it's embellishment because I wrote that I'm an inventor, motivator, math infatuator, grammatical spectator, and a part-time social worker. You know, that friendly, looking over your shoulder, all up in your business lurker. But I also have a dual master's degree and MYOB in pointing out what you cannot see. I will always give more checks than I'll ever receive. And I make non-believers believe in themselves while wearing this tie with rolled up sleeves. So, okay, Monster.com, I obliged. I edited my resume to simply read teacher. Now, this is a title that I share with my mother, a few friends, and my mentor. But my challenge is to implore all my students' rigor to legally earn 6 figures and understand our real power is not behind the trigger, but in recognizing its side. Because the guns, handle to barrel, obtuse angle, boomerang-like profile makes it easy to understand why those who dish it out end up taking it. This is the culture I work in. It's not exactly black and white unless we're talking about prison bars against bare walls or those who rise against those who fall. No. So I turned off the radio and the television to make a hands-on decision to teach, breaching my students' acceptable bone because I reach beyond their minds. But the hardest reality for me is seeing so much talent go from achievement gap to opportunity divide, and seeing dedicated urban teachers cry and try. Is one success out of many a desired result? I mean, just because I'm not at fault does not mean I'm not responsible for the mess. Because the best of the best may pass the test and the rest may guess, but I must confess that I have more concern for the less like Johnny, who can't read. So I proceeded to focus on him as my concession, just to find out that I was cheapening the class's lesson. And then there's Stacy Messon. He needs more help after school. But if I stayed alone with her as a single male teacher, I would be a fool. And then there's Greg, who feels safer at school than at home because there are no gunshots in a drug-free zone. I once heard my coworker said, hey, fight the fights that you can win. But this is hard for me because Stacy, Johnny, and Greg are not alone. They have statistical twins. Do you have any idea what it's like to believe in a child more than she believes in herself? To believe that any child can learn, but know that this child will fail. To tell a teen to reach for the stars, knowing that his college rejection is in the mail. If you don't, just have a cup of coffee with one of us teachers. Because we are the creatures who use every word we know to test, but only 5 letters to grade. On a scale of needs improvement to needs improvement, because there's always room for it. I am a teacher, and I didn't share this poem with you to remember my worth, but so that I would never forget why I do what I do. Thank you. Thank you. I felt it appropriate to begin my talk with a poem that would highlight 2 passions that I have, and that is the art of teaching. And yes, I consider it an art. We could talk about this during the intermission. And the art of spoken word. Now, when I first heard about this event, I knew I had to get involved. 1, because I didn't want to have to pay for the ticket. Still paying loans, and BU wants me to give money. Just messing, BU, in a few years. But the other was because of the theme. And the theme of this is a call to arts. And to me, that sounded like a command. And I felt like it was my duty to share my love of spoken word with you guys. Now, what is spoken word? Well, to me, spoken word is poetry that is crafted with the intent to share and or perform. Now, I didn't always know about this art form. The way I got involved with this was through a Boston University group known as Speak for Yourself. Yeah. And it was through that group that I got inspired to do spoken word. Now, I've performed many times and written many poems, but I've learned 3 key things in my life. And here are the top 3 things that I've learned. 4 things. 1, potato chips and wine don't go together. That's not me being regal, that's me saying, no. Thought I'd share that with you, that's very important. 1 is to entertain the audience. Because if you have anything to share, anything that you want to put out there, it needs to entertain the audience. You need to draw them. You need to engage the audience. Because if you are not entertaining the audience, you better keep it on the page. And it also goes into number 2. Poems are not diary entries. If you're gonna talk about your life and everything you're going through and all the things that are really trivial, just you write it in a journal and keep it home. Unless it's entertaining the audience, because then it's funny. And the third thing I've learned is, you can always express yourself and use your own viewpoint, but you need to at times serve as a voice for others. I think that is the most empowering and powerful thing you can do, is when you take someone else's perspective and you can speak for them and hopefully have an effect on your audience. Let's take this lady for example. This lady here, she is here to serve and protect. Detective, not yet, because for a female it's hard. Because I am scarred with feminine qualities to receive catcalls from dogs and pigs. And it figures when a woman with handcuffs is only considered hot. I'm not considered part of the force, but just prepping for intercourse. And that's the source of my ambition, because men say I'm not supposed to make it. They say with my little brain and my little muscles and my little monthly hormonal injections, I can take it. These men say we can't be police officers. They say we can't be construction workers. Don't they know behind every strong man is a much stronger woman? They say we can't be presidents. They say we can't be scientists. Behind every person's genetics is the X chromosome. So we can make it to the top, bucko. We can make it without the use of our feminine qualities, because you men have no idea what it's like to be viewed as an objectified subordinate rather than a dignified equal. Pokes to my ego when the applicant is hired to serve, deserving to be more than this secretary, this understudy, with credit paid influential, yet I am influential. And none of the decisions made for this company, but mankind. And must I remind you, man, we birthed you. That shit's hard. We are trained by the most beautiful, compassionate intellectuals, other females. So the next time these men decide to cross that line, I want them to realize that these stiletto boots are made for far more than walking. Thank you. Now, in closing, I want to leave you with a challenge. My challenge to you is to find your art, whatever it is, if it's music, if it's drawing, if it's painting, if it's spoken word, which I prefer. Find your art and use it to inspire. I didn't know about spoken word until I heard about it from Boston University, Speak for Yourself. And it was through that I got inspired to take that on myself as my platform to express myself. Because the way I feel, poetry is the empowerment to inspire. Thank you.